What do aliens, coconuts, and World War II veterans have in common? They're all in some way worshipped by these 5 bizarre cults that you have probably never heard about. From a group that believes aliens created Jesus and Buddha, to an island in the Pacific where the inhabitants pray that an unknown US military serviceman will one day return as their god. Welcome back to another episode of Weird Wednesdays here on Shadow Matter, the series that will delve into the strange and the mysterious every Wednesday. Without further ado, let's get into the 5 most bizarre cults you've never heard of. Number 5. The John Frum Cargo Cult. In the islands of the Pacific, Vanuatu to be exact, lies an island called Tanna, where this particular cult thrives. During World War II, the islands in the Pacific were occupied by Allied forces, most notably the Americans, who were stationed on said islands during their campaign against Japan in the Pacific Theatre. Most of the indigenous peoples on these remote islands had never come across planes, guns, clothes, and foreign technology such as radios. To the locals, it seemed as if their never-ending supplies were the result of some divine magic, and so the people of the islands began to perform rituals and worship these soldiers whom they thought of as gods. After the war ended, the cults grew in numbers, especially after the soldiers left, and sometimes, when they returned, it seemed as if their prayers and rituals were bringing the soldiers back to the islands. These particular pseudo-religions were often called cargo cults. On the island of Tanna, the peculiar cargo cult of John Frum was born. The inhabitants of Tanna believed John Frum to be the bringer of wealth and prosperity. He is depicted as an American World War II serviceman. He is also said to live in a volcano, to be a spirit, is omnipotent, and is believed to be stronger than Jesus. Some of the rituals include marching in a military-style parade wearing t-shirts that say Tanna Army USA or TA USA, consuming the local narcotic kava drink to help them see John Frum. The followers of John Frum have declined in recent years, with reportedly no more than 500 as of 2022. Those who are still die-hard believers even built landing strips for his eventual return to the island. Number 4. Universal medicine and breast massage. Imagine being told, I can cure your cancer with a simple massage. Well, that's what the founder of Universal Medicine, Serge benhayon, claims his esoteric healing can do. Serge benhayon is a former tennis coach who went bankrupt and began a cult-like medical practice in 1999 after he had a, quote, energetic impression while on the toilet, end quote. Universal Medicine, or for short, is an unregulated health service provider that is based in New South Wales, Australia, and practices esoteric breast massages, esoteric healing, chakra punctures, and ovarian readings, among several other unregulated practices. The esoteric breast massage, or EBM programs, are claimed to heal everything from painful periods to breast cancer. The cult claims over $2 million Australian dollars a year in revenue from the treatments, courses, and workshops it provides to its followers. Some of the beliefs taught by Serge benhayon are derived from the 20th century theosophist Alice A. Bailey, focuses on the belief that diseases caused by energetic disharmony resulting from ill choices made in this and previous lifetimes. Serge also teaches that music and food will contain prana, which he regards as evil, could be the cause of such ailments, and that the only way to rid yourself of these is to replace them with a counteracting, fiery energy. Some of these cures include teas, elixirs, and laminated healing postcards. Serge benhayon is claimed to be the reincarnation of Leonardo da Vinci and Pythagoras, as well as Alice A. Bailey, Imhotep, and Saint Peter. In recent years, Serge benhayon and his unorthodox medical practices have come under scrutiny from various ex-followers who claimed they were indecently touched during his healing sessions. A New South Wales Supreme Court jury found that he leads a socially dangerous and socially harmful cult, intentionally indecently touched clients, and is a charlatan who makes fraudulent medical claims. In a British court ruling, Universal Medicine was found to be a cult with potentially harmful and sinister elements. Interestingly, Serge and his associates had submitted numerous legal complaints to Google Australia to remove links to internet news articles, websites, or blogs that might question or criticize Number 3. The Coconut Cult. German author August Engelhardt once wrote about coconuts, quote, "We can expect from God that he created our food in the shape of our heads. They are vegetal human heads, and they alone are the proper human nourishment." End quote. In the early 20th century, Engelhardt was obsessed with man's natural state of living, which included living nude and eating only fruit and vegetables, most of which he considered that coconuts were the perfect source of food for humans. Born in Germany in 1875, August Engelhardt was the son of a factory worker and in his youth attended university, studied physics, and became interested in health and nutrition. At some point, Engelhardt became involved with a community known as the Fountain of Youth that promoted nudism and vegetarianism. These ideals stuck with him, and later, after serving in the military and gaining a substantial inheritance, Engelhardt relocated to German New Guinea, present-day Papua New Guinea. In 1903, August moved to a small island, was the only white man living on the island among 40 Melanesians. He gave up wearing clothes completely, built himself a 3-room hut, and began worshipping the sun. He also began believing that consuming a diet of only coconuts was the key to immortality. His letters published in various German magazines caught the attention of a small number of followers, and at its peak, it reached 30 members, all of whom were devoted to the teachings of August Engelhardt. As the years passed, the members of the coconut cult diminished, and by 1909, he was virtually on the island alone. By the time World War I broke out, Australia had occupied Papua New Guinea and taken Engelhardt as a prisoner of war, but was later released under the impression that he was a crank or mentally unstable. Engelhardt's physical and mental health continued to decline, and those who saw him described his massive leg ulcers, undernourished physique, and almost lacked the ability to walk. August Engelhardt died sometime in 1919 and was an advocate of coconuts and sun worship until his death. Number 2. Happy Science Cult. In Japan, there is a surprising amount of weird cults. One of them is called Happy Science and was founded in 1986 by Ryuho Okawa, who claims to be the reincarnation of the supreme being El Cantare, the Lord of all gods. Originally, Ryuho Okawa was a well-off businessman working on Wall Street and for the Toyota company, but later resigned to set up his new religious organization, which he dubbed Happy Science. Members of the cult believe El Cantare was born 330 million years ago and was worshipped at different times in human history as Odin, Jesus, Osiris, Hermes, Buddha, and the Hebrew Elohim. Okawa's current wife is thought by believers to be the reincarnation of the goddess Gaia, Mother Earth. According to Okawa, to obtain happiness, one must practice the principles of happiness known as the Fourfold Path. Love that gives wisdom, self-reflection, and progress. The only requirement to join Happy Science is that the applicants must have, quote, the aspiration and discipline to seek the truth and actively contribute to the realization of love, peace, and happiness on earth, end quote. Among other teachings, they believe in the existence of reincarnation, angels, demons, heaven and hell, and aliens. What's interesting about this group is their political aspirations. The Happy Science cult has also formed the Happiness Realization Party that focuses on the rapid militarized expansion of Japan, foreign policies against China and North Korea, and wants to strengthen its ties to the US. The group's nationalistic ideas have become better defined in recent years, and they've also started media campaigns supporting Donald Trump and the US far right, working to build anti-China animosities. During the pandemic, the group sold spiritual vaccines that claim to prevent and cure the disease for a pricey cost. As of 2018, 21 local councillors were working for the Happy Realization Party, and the cult has around 13,000 followers. Number 1. Raelism, the UFO cult. They believe aliens created humans. This bizarre cult is the biggest UFO-based religion in the world, with over 60,000 followers. What began in France in the 1970s by Claude Raelian, who later went by the name of Rael, started the movement after his alleged encounter with an alien race known as the Elohim. In various television and radio interviews, Raelian began to promote the idea of the Elohim being a supreme extraterrestrial race that created humans. He began to speak at lectures in various universities, where he gathered a number of followers, many of whom were science fiction fans or amateur ufologists. In 1974, the movement for the welcoming of the Elohim, creators of humanity, was launched. It was around this time that Rael began referring to himself as Rael and insisting others do the same. Raelism promotes the idea that after the US dropped the Hiroshima bomb in 1945, humanity is now living in the age of the apocalypse. Only if humans avoid a nuclear war and attain world peace, then the aliens who created all of mankind 25,000 years ago, called the Elohim, will return to Earth and with their advanced technology begin a utopian society. The followers also believe that Elohim created 40 alien-human hybrids that are often mistaken as deities such as Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, and Rael himself, who is the 40th and final hybrid creation. The international Raelian movement claims tens of thousands of members, the majority in the Francophone areas of Western Europe and North America and parts of East Asia. Criticism of the philosophy has come from journalists, ex-Raelians, and anti-cultists, while it has also been studied by scholars of religion. But what are your thoughts on the 5 most bizarre cults that you've probably never heard of? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and click that notifications bell to see more Weird Wednesdays coming soon. And together, we can explore the strange, the terrifying, the unknown, the shadow matter.